Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. It is exactly 8:51 a.m. We are still on the subject of May Day, Workers' Day, Labor Day, call it what you will, but it's really about the rights of workers. And it is, of course, also referred to as International Labor Day. So let's talk with Brother Tahir Maepa. He is the Secretary General of the Public Service and Commercial Union of South Africa. I think it's a relatively new union. Let's understand the role of unions in fighting for workers' rights. Do they actually get it right? Are they able to make the workers to show them results? I spoke to Guiza a little while ago, and Abida has told me about this long standing impasse that they have with Clover regarding retrenched workers, regarding the issue around not paying workers for working on a holiday, working an 8-day, a 5 or a 6-day week, working longer than 8 hours a day, and the list goes on and on and on. So, what is the stance that Tahir Maepa and as the Secretary General of the Public Service and Commercial Union of South Africa, what is their stance? And do they truly believe that unions do, in fact, serve the workers? Assalamu alaikum, dear brother. Welcome to the program. Nice talking with you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for having me. The issues that you are raising are quite
It's a long
pertinent.
statement, I know. It's a long statement, but we need answers.
I'm going to try and do that. We as unions, our role is always to go against employers when we are confronted with questions that deals with us. They are always very difficult. But nonetheless, look, Sister Julie, if you look at the history of trade unionism originally was meant to just look after the interest of the workers and improve their working condition, and to make sure that the safety and health aspect of their working lives are also secure. And majority of all these privileges that we are enjoying today as unions, they were struck long time ago. Now, if we fast forward and look at what trade unions have been in the last 20, 30 years, and to the recent time, is that most trade unions have themselves become employers. We have moved away from what we are meant to become. First and foremost, unions are not there to be rich, to be wealthy, and to own businesses and to be involved in what primarily we would call, in the South African context, white monopoly capital. And unfortunately, the trade unions of today in this country and across the world, they are business people. They are in capitalistic environment. They're entangled in that, and they've dropped the baton in terms of what unions are supposed to be doing. And it is because of that we are seeing the erosion of the power of unions. In this country, for instance, only 22%, I'm told, of the workers are unionized. So it means the huge chunk of workers either have lost trust in unions or they're not interested in unions. Now, that in itself, it calls for self-reflection as us as trade unions in terms of whether we are still fulfilling the role what we're supposed to be fulfilling. That doesn't take away the fact that unions are necessary. In fact, unions are imperative for the protection of the rights and interests of workers. So, having said that, we need to now start looking at whether us as unions also we need some form of I don't know what to call it, maybe an ombudsman to check if the unions are indeed fulfilling what the law prescribed, because it is prescribed in terms of what unions are supposed to be doing. It's not something that we can choose. But the moment we move out of the law, there's no one who's monitoring that us as unions are still fulfilling our responsibility in terms of the Constitution, in terms of the Labor Relations Act. And I know for a fact that majority of the unions are the most exploitative employers. They don't look after their staff. They fire and hire willy-nilly. They harass their employees. So we are really entangled into things that we're not supposed to be entangled in. When you started, you mentioned that the Public Service and Commercial Union is relatively new. Yes, it is new, but it was formed by people who have been trade unionists for many years, and they come from different trade unions because of that erosion that they've seen in those unions, to say, but we are losing the plot. We are no longer fulfilling our obligations as unions, and we want to have a union in its purity that is not going to get involved in politics, that is not going to be in bed with employers, that is just going to concentrate on the interest and the rights of workers. And I'm hoping that workers need to start waking up and question some of the decisions that we as unions are doing. Because the only reason why employers are on a rampage is because they don't fear unions anymore, because of they have general secretaries and presidents of these unions, shareholders having back-to-back agreements with them. They are being bribed. So they don't fear us because of they have the leadership of these unions in their fists, and then they squeeze them to the extent that workers start suffering on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, when we look at the two big unions in South Africa, NUMSA and COSATU, we kind of, that's where the question comes in. What have they done to reach the point where they're at today? They are the two largest unions, and then there are smaller unions like yourself. What is it you believe that has positioned them where they are, but possibly now not serving the people that they represent? What needs to be put right? We are still talking in this day and age of with rising food costs and everything else, everything is rising. The inflation rate is unimaginably high. People aren't able to put food on the table. So, where are the unions? We know what. The large corporates and even government ministers, we know what their earning potential is like. It's in the millions or the hundreds of thousands that they take home at the end of the month, whereas the workers can't even put food on the table. We talk about mines, we know, what their earning potential is, and the guys that go underground are earning, putting their lives at risk and earning absolute meager or slave salaries. So what would a union like you, even if they are not your members, you need to start speaking up for these people, isn't it?
Absolutely. Look, COSATU as a federation, uh, it's big, and over the years, unfortunately, COSATU has become the leggy of the ANC. They've really lost their plot in terms of that vanguard that they used to be of the workers. And if you look at the current discussions that are happening in COSATU, it's all about who they should now support for the upcoming elections, because that's what they care about. They care about politics. They care about their senior officials also becoming ministers and coming into government and all that, and
So
all
are
these
they,
things.
sorry, they should be called out for the fact they need to answer to the people. Are they now aspiring to be a political party, or are they a trade union? If they're no longer a trade union, then those members need to affiliate with another trade union, because clearly they are not serving the mandate of the people, the workers.
That has been my mission, Sister Julie. I've been saying this over time. You see, the problem that we are having in the country is that our people and majority of the workers, they seem to uh, fail to understand that the politics of the country, they've got nothing to do with their shop floor challenges that they are facing. And it is because of that that COSATU has been weakened. And the only reason why NUMSA left them, and which was their biggest affiliate, was the fact that NUMSA wanted them to leave the ANC so that the union, the COSATU, should be independent of a political party. But the current leaders of the COSATU, they don't want to leave ANC because they've got personal interest in terms of what should happen in terms of career wise, in terms of them coming into office and all that. And this is, I agree with you 100%. This is the messaging that we need to start taking it out there, that COSATU, we need to give it an ultimatum: get out of politics, leave the ANC, be independent, or face collapse. And we independent unions, we need to really go out there and do our job in making, and we have done it. We are growing. We get members from most of the affiliates like SAMU and NEHAW and all that, and that is exactly the kind of work that we need to start doing, not to destroy it, because if I have my way, I want a united labor movement, one sector, one union that will be strong so that we can confront the employers. But we, unfortunately, at this stage, we can't, because we are now involved in things that we're not supposed to be involved in.
And it seems like it's a situation of too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Everybody wants to be the Makulu boss.
Exactly.
Having said
Exactly.
that, you're talking about all these smaller unions like yourself, and you're not by any means small. I think you are growing pretty rapidly. Do you think that that would make a difference? Smaller unions banding together, forming coalitions. We know coalitions in government is not working. Do you think it will work with the unions? Is that a recipe that could serve the people, serve the workers?
Absolutely. Look, we currently speaking to a number of small unions that are splinters from COSATU and other independent unions to say, guys, you know what? We need to start saying that the best among us, let them lead. You can't have a situation where everybody wants to be a secretary general, everybody wants to be a president. But let's get the best among us to lead, and then let's combine our forces so that we can deal with the current immediate challenges of the workers. The only reason why we're unable to deal with the rampant corruption in this country, and we are dependent on things like AfriForum and OUTA and all that, is because of the unions are not fulfilling their role. This is our role. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is why we are created, to hold government and employers responsible. But why? How are we going to do it when we are in bed with them? We're having breakfast with them. I'm not saying we should hate them, but we're saying that we should be independent minded of them, so that when they are wrong, we don't feel bad to tell them that they are wrong. I mean, the billions that this country is spending. For instance, you have this scam that has been run in the president's office that costs the taxpayers 23 billion a year. What happens with all these kids that they employ for only 1 year? After 1 year, they throw them into the long queues of UIF and into poverty. 23 billion gone. And we're saying that the president must account. Who's benefiting from this 23 billion? I don't think the few thousands of the young people that have been employed are benefiting if it's going to be a 12 months contract. We want sustainable jobs. We want permanent jobs. We want guaranteed jobs, not part-time jobs, in order just to fill the statistics that in the past year we created 300 jobs, and those 300 jobs the following year are gone. It's a scam, and we need
Okay.
to do something about these things.
We need to wrap up now. I've got Zai Jadwat standing by with the news. What can you, as Secretary General of the Public Service and Commercial Union of South Africa, what are the wins that you've had in the time that you guys have been running your trade union?
Well, we really have done well as a trade union, looking at the fact that we are only about a year or so in existence. For instance, I'm sitting now with a court order of about 12 million for the city of Tshwane, and our intention is to attach the property of city of Tshwane on behalf of the members who joined us that they are owed money. We are growing in Tshwane. We are now dealing with the issue of the border management agency of the Department of Home Affairs in terms of the integration, which it's also another mess that is happening there. And we have done extremely well in Department of Health. So there's a number of projects, even though some of them are long-term things that we are busy dealing with, but eventually these are going to save workers a lot of money. We are busy with PIC again, which is something that I'm very passionate about, with the about 3 billion that they've lost, and they don't want to release the
Account.
report the
Mhm.
report about the whole mess with regards to this company in Klerksdorp that they funded. So all these things are the wins that will guarantee that workers' monies and pensions and so forth are guaranteed. So we are slowly getting there. We are gaining momentum, and as and when these cases come to our fore, we take them with vigor and we deal with them. And by the way, some of them we got them because of these workers who used to belong to other unions. They say, you know what, we want to join you, but we have these cases. Are you going to take us? And we say, you are welcome. We are doing them for free. We are fundraising from a number of people to help us to run these cases, and we've been successful so far.
Inshallah, Amin. We need to have another conversation regarding the PIC scandal and also the Department of Health. We don't have time for that now, but we will talk in the future. May you grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Allah accept all your efforts. Nice talking with you
Amin.
again, Tahir. Go well. Salaam
Shukran,
alaikum.
jazakallah khair.
It is exactly 8 after 9 o'clock. News and views right here on Salam Media. And of course, our news correspondent, Saeed Jadwadi, standing by with the bulletin of the morning.